The man just crossed over to ancient times, and the government was out on the street, giving away wives for free. Turns out this country had its population decimated by war, so they had to force the people to take female war captives home to have babies. But the locals all thought these women were too skinny, saying they couldn't do farm work if taken home, and would just waste food. The general was furious and prepared to assign them by force, when he suddenly spotted the drooling man standing nearby. The man looked at these three beauties before him, thinking his luck had finally come. He immediately shouted that he wanted all of them. The general mocked his physique, saying he couldn't even feed himself, but the man guaranteed he'd give them the good life. The three women had no choice but to go home with him, to avoid being sent to the military camp. Little did anyone know all three had extraordinary identities. One was a proud and aloof princess, one was a wealthy merchant's daughter, and one was a legendary healer. The princess and the merchant's daughter were too proud to become concubines. Only the healer signed the marriage contract first to survive. In an instant a system appeared. He successfully bonded with the healer, unlocking a cross-dimensional marketplace. Before he could finish celebrating, the aloof princess suddenly collapsed from a heart attack. Even the healer shook her head, saying there was no hope. The man immediately redeemed a cardiac defibrillator from the marketplace and aimed it at the princess's chest, delivering shock after shock. The two ancient beauties backed away in fear, but unexpectedly the next second, the princess actually started breathing again. This miraculous life-saving skill made the healer completely devoted to him. Her affection maxed out instantly. Just as the man was about to take the beauties inside, the town's tyrannical landlord showed up at the door with a gang. This old creep loved tormenting women. He accused the man of not repaying his debt and tried to forcibly claim these three beauties. The man didn't panic at all. He pulled a thunder talisman from the system, tossed it skyward, and instantly summoned 5 lightning strikes from above. The landlord and his thugs were charred to black coal. The three beauties, watching this godlike scene, couldn't help but laugh. Though the man had won, he didn't want to default on the debt, so he promised to pay it off in 3 days. He'd already mortgaged the house. That night the four could only sleep outdoors. Seeing the beauties shivering from the cold, the man redeemed 3 down jackets. That warm sensation made them feel like they were floating on clouds. To fulfill his promise of giving his wives a mansion to live in, the man redeemed overnight a heavy-duty excavator. After all, before crossing over, he was an expert in civil engineering. Building a tall building overnight was simple for him. The next morning the beauties stared in shock at the luxury villa that appeared out of nowhere. They thought this man must be a deity descended from heaven. After getting the new house that night, the man consummated the marriage with the gentle healer. The system rewarded him again with a massive amount of points. The man struck while the iron was hot, redeeming a metal detector to dig for gold in the back mountain. But that landlord wouldn't give up. He actually teamed up with his brother-in-law, the magistrate, to raid the house while the man was away. The three beauties were cornered at the door, trembling. The magistrate demanded outrageously 40 taels for medical expenses and threatened to take them back as debt payment. Just as the landlord, with his sleazy grin, reached his dirty hand toward the healer, a furious roar rang out like thunder. He warned this bunch that whoever dared touch his women